Welcome to Random Talk. Today's topic is speak like you mean it. Yes, speak like you mean it. But before we get started, I just always have to start you with something. Now today, this is just my little random thought because it just happened as I was prepping myself to record. Let me tell you, ladies who are out there that, and this is not me throwing shade, I am being serious. So to the ladies who have to put on their hair and put the makeup on, like the makeup and the eyelashes and the lipstick, oh my goodness, I tip my hat to you. I don't know how to wear makeup. First off, it was just not allowed in my household. My mother wouldn't allow me to wear makeup because it was just something she spoke in me. She said, you can't wear makeup until you know who you are, and you can't wear makeup until you need to wear makeup. And that's just what I was raised on. So I don't know how to wear makeup, but I'm saying that to say to you. So I recorded an episode just a little while ago. Then I had to go in and prep for the next recording. This is just the behind the scenes of what goes on with my random talk. And so I I had to change lipstick color to go with what I had on. And let me tell you, sometimes when I'm doing my recordings, I get real lazy. So I just try to make sure that lipstick color can kind of coincide with everything that I wear, but today it wasn't an option. And so as I was standing there having to take off the lipstick and put on some more lipstick, that's about as much makeup as I can do and that I know how to do, and I barely know how to do that. But I thought about the women who put on their makeup and it looks beautiful on you. But baby, you would not be getting these random talks from me if I had to do all that. So I just tip my hat to you because I just don't know how you do it. That's a lot of work. That is a lot of work. So that was just my little random thought. I just had to give you some behind the scenes of what just happened to me. Like, that's real talk. That's some work. Like, as soon as the random talks are over and I'm done recording, I go in there and I wipe it off and I just put on my regular lip gloss. So I tip my hat to all the women who have to prep in that way because I don't have the patience. Oh my goodness. But on to today's random talk, speak like you mean it. Let me tell you, the same way my mother raised me on not, wearing makeup until the time comes that you need to wear the makeup. It's the same thing with what I'm about to talk to you about. Now, she does not like when I give this example because she feels like she was a bad mother, but I'm telling you, and I'm going to tell you like I always tell her, it didn't make her a bad mother. It made her a great mother because it passed on throughout the generations. So let me get into my example of this real life example of why I say speak like you mean it. Now, me being, I don't know how she really was with my brothers because I am the youngest of all three of us and we are all 5 years apart. But I just remember how she was with me. Now, it was like a double whammy because my mother's best friend, which we consider her as my godmother, she is deceased now, but she was the same way. So I had it from both sides. And what you were not allowed to do in their presence as a woman and a black woman is to speak like you didn't know what you were talking about. So I was always told, you speak like you mean it. If you don't believe in what you were saying, why would you expect anyone else to believe in what you are saying? So you open your mouth and you speak like you mean it. And so it took me some years now to get the gist of that because my words came out like a double-edged sword in the beginning because everything I went through in my life, my weapon was my mouth. So I didn't drink, I didn't smoke, and I wasn't shooting and killing, but I was chopping people and slicing them up with my mouth. Now I'm improved. I know how to, cut you down to size with a smile on my face and no profanity coming out. So I'm improved now. But in my growing up, that is what I was taught. And so I just want, and I hope that this message will help people because when I tell you something that gets up under my skin is when I hear children or even adults speaking as if they are not sure of what they are saying, and then they become frustrated or aggravated because no one's listening. So you have to speak like you mean it. even if you are unsure of yourself. Now, I am not talking about the people who are just telling lies out of their mouth, because that's the difference. Now, I'm not telling you just to walk around, tell lies, and be boastful about it, because honestly, that's how a liar can get people to believe their lies. It's because they speak like it's the truth. They speak like they believe it. But what I am saying to you is that you always have to make sure you speak like you mean it. Now, again, observation was my thing, as work, and it still is to this day. But the way you present yourself, you see how I'm sitting here, back straight, eye contact with you, that has everything to do with how you speak. So my mother, people think that I have taken public speaking. And whenever I go to events, and sometimes if I am working like contract jobs with companies and they're telling me what they want me to speak about, for their organization, they hire public speakers to come in and train someone on public speaking. I'm not bragging on myself, but each time the professional will tell me, oh, you have it all. You know what you're doing. So I say this to say my mother did not know what she was preparing me for, but she had me prepared for this moment. She knew as a Black woman that I would need to be able to stand my ground, stand up straight, speak like I mean it. And I just want you to do that. I want you to do the same thing. If you are an adult, I want you to teach your children to do the same thing. If you are an adult, I want you to teach your children to do the same thing. If you are a leader, I want you to teach your youth to do the same thing, because how we present ourselves is one thing, but how we speak is another thing. So you have to make sure that you know how to speak up for yourself. Now, real life situation. Let me give you a flashback. This is the part that my mother does not like, but I love it because it's the truth. And it helped me to be who I am today. Now, my mother worked an 8-to-5 job, and when she got off work, she was like transitioning. Now, she was married, but if you followed along with me, you know that my father, he was abusive. He wasn't the best husband to her, but he wasn't the best father either, because he did not do anything to help my mother with us kids in the household. So she was holding it down herself, and I commend her for that. So usually with my homework time, my mother was cooking dinner. And so you did your homework. Well, I did my homework because I was the last one left in the house, but I would do my homework sitting at the kitchen table while she was cooking. Now, whenever I wrote, because writing is my passion, so I love to write. I consider myself to be a writer. Now, it came from her because she would edit my papers, but whenever I had to write a paper, the job it wasn't a qualification. No, not qualification. It was not a requirement from the school, but it was a requirement from my mother that I had to get up and speak and read my paper in front of her out loud. Her pet peeves: you do not say you do not say if you don't know what you're going to say, you pause. And that's a part of public speaking, because when you constantly say it presents you to sound like a liar. If you're constantly saying or people lose focus, they lose attention. So that's what she was constantly telling me. So she could be frying chicken, cooking collard greens, and whatever else she was cooking, and I'm reading, and it was like, start over. And so that is what came before. That's how I am here right now, speaking and talking to you the way that I do, because my mother was my public speaker. She was the person training me from, when I was younger up until now, and I passed that on to my boys. And, they get tired of me in the beginning, but now when they go up and they speak in front of their jobs or in school and in their classrooms, it's like, who taught you how to stand up and speak? So I'm telling you, it's a real thing. So parents, if you're not great at speaking, and it does not have to be in front of a huge audience, but just how you carry yourself in a conversation, because honestly, it helps too as a parent when you go to speak on behalf of your children. You have to speak like you mean it. So if you are around children, they don't even have to be your child. Just be that leader and tell them, speak up, speak, make eye contact, speak with some bass in your throat, bass in your voice, like you mean it, because otherwise people are not going to listen to you. They're not going to take you seriously. And so that is why I say speak like you mean it. Yes, because I want all of us to walk around like leaders. You have to speak like you mean it, and you have to help the next person who is not speaking well, especially for the youth. I cannot stand when an adult will sit and allow a child to mumble instead of stopping them and correcting them. You don't have to embarrass them, but stop them and correct them so that they will know how to do it better the next time, because I'm telling you, the doors that have been opened for my kids, and it's not because they have been favored by people, it's just how they present themselves and conduct themselves when it comes to speaking. Like right now, I taught them how to respond to teachers. That's your teacher. So that means that you tell them what they're not doing. My youngest will tell a teacher in a minute what they need to do and that they haven't graded his papers and he needs his grades to be submitted at a certain time. And guess what? The teachers tease me and say, well, he keeps us on our toes. He keeps us on our toes. I try to keep the privacy of my children and their names, and I was about to say his name, and that's why I paused. But last but not least for this random talk, I just want to tell you that a real life situation. My mother and my godmother were taking me shopping one time. I was about 12 years old. This was the year right before my life took a change, because as you know, the physical abuse in my life started at 13. Well, I told you I was like a nerd. I love school. And so I was just announced as having perfect attendance the full school year. I always had perfect attendance. And then I was in the beta club and I had received all these awards. So my mother and my godmother was taking me out to go shopping. And I just remember this day so vividly. I was walking in the store like this. And they did not know. One person was on one side, the other person was on the other side. I was walking in the store like this, and before I knew it, they both took their hands and slapped my arms down. And they say, no, ma'am, you stand up straight. Put your arms down. You walk like you mean it. I'm telling you, it means something. I never knew until they told me, but that shows insecurity when you're walking this way. There will be so many people that will disagree when you tell them that, but that is what that shows. You're insecure. You're not trusting yourself in that moment. And so I had to teach both of my sons the same thing. Put your arms down, because men have a habit of doing that too. And for some reason, that moment stuck with me. The moments in my mother's kitchen while she was cooking with don't say and naturally we will say or sometimes, but she just wanted me to get in the motion of having it in my mind to think before I speak. Some of us need to practice that even as adults. You got to think before you speak. So I just want you to know your body language, your eye contact, the tone of your voice, and how you present yourself. It all goes with speak like you mean it. I'm telling you, you get that thing under control, you get it down packed, you will move mountains in your life, because a lot of that means I say what I mean. And I mean what I say. And that is why I sit before you today, to be able to give you the messages that I hope will help you. So make sure that you tune in for the next Random Talk. I hope that you have a wonderful day. Tune in for the next Random Talk.